a younger sister who is going to do MS in IIIT Hyderabad. She got admission letter, so I'll get to know after 2 years whether she will curse me or she will remember me. My mother used to travel 90 kilometers every day when we were in childhood. At least in my college, I went to CAT coaching, traveling in a rudderless ship. Didn't know what I wanted to do. So should I sit for placement? Should I go for higher studies? So I thought, if we don't go, we'll be left behind.
I know that from college times, you've had this aspiration that you want to start your own university. I want to understand why that. Hi, Sagar. Welcome to Tech My Breath Away. So for those of us who don't know Sagar, he is a computer vision and machine learning scientist at Qualcomm. He has a PhD from IIIT, from I would say the top group in 3D in India currently. He works on exciting stuff in AR, and his prior work has been on like a lot of 3D reconstruction. So we're going to have a very, very interesting conversation today. He has also been a co-author with me. So I've had the fortune of, working with him. And he's a top publisher in, amongst several conferences, journals. You can look him up. I'll put his profile in. Yeah, so welcome, Sagar. How are you today?
Yeah, hi Abhinav. Thanks for such a nice intro, and feels good to talk to you again about the technical stuff and all we had a few years ago.
Yeah.
I'm looking
Awesome.
forward to it.
Awesome. So you're obviously very accomplished in this space, somebody who a lot of us would look up to. I mean, there's a lot of very interesting work that you have done. Now, before we actually kind of get into the whole technical, and we know where you are today. You're at Qualcomm. You're doing XYZ stuff on AR, some exciting stuff. So I just want to like wind the clock back and really understand what got you here. So I'd like to take you back to your childhood.
Yeah.
So paint a picture for me. Let's say just close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Yeah.
And wind the clock 20 years back. You are 5 years old.
Yeah.
Right? Tell me, what was it like growing up?
Yeah. So as far as I remember, like back in when from 5 years old, I remember traveling a lot with my parents. So my father is a travel enthusiast, at least within India. So I have been to several places. Like mostly religious places. I remember my first trip, like in my remembrance is Mysore trip, and then from there we have been to several places across India.
Awesome.
From 5 years to I mean, apart from studies, I'm really fond of the traveling which I made during childhood to various temples across India. Yeah, that was what I immediately remembered when you asked about my childhood.
Awesome. So do you travel a lot nowadays as well?
Yes, actually, it has been a pause. How PhD works, right? So I have given a significant pause during my PhD time. But I'm resuming it again. So recently, I've been blessed with a baby boy. I took him to the same trip which I first had, Mysore trip. So I'm planning multiple trip. I like the travel. And I like the ancient culture, like the temples. I mean, archaeology, this kind of stuff. So I will probably explore with my family from now. I'm really looking forward to do that.
That's awesome. So you're basically kind of setting up the way your childhood was set up, similar something for your kids, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
kind
That's
of.
cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Where did you grow up?
So my hometown and my childhood was entirely in a town called Kadapa, which is a small town near Tirupati, and
Okay.
my schooling was from Vidya Mandir school.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be in a CBSE school. While it was not so famous, so there is only one CBSE school in my hometown, and I have been fortunate enough. My parents took a good decision to study me in CBSE school. It has given me a lot of exposure, and I also had played multiple games. So we had a very beautiful ground. We used to play every Sunday cricket, and I have been to South Zone hockey tournaments and handball tournaments. So yeah, I mean, my childhood was full fun with travel with family and playing with friends, and of course there are studies as well.
That's actually a beautiful memory. So you said that CBSE, you're fortunate
Yeah.
enough to enter CBSE. Why is that? Why do you think that was the case?
So I felt it's a stress-free education, which I really want my kids to take up like that. So we had school from morning 8 o'clock to afternoon 1:45,
Okay.
1:45 to ish, and Saturday is a half day within the 12:30. After that, you are free to do, and every day we had games from evening 5 to 6, so which everyone looks forward to. Like when we just go to the ground and play with all the volleyballs, basketball, everything. So I
Awesome.
like the stress-free education. While like I saw many of my like other friends in locality, so they were like struggling, not struggling, but they had a school till 6 o'clock in the evening or 5 o'clock in the evening, and after that they were going some tuitions and also. But I was fortunate enough to have spent enough time on games, extracurricular curricular
Got it.
activities, and studies as well.
I mean, that's important, right?
Yeah.
Because today we are so focused on career, so focused
Yeah.
on work, and we
Yes.
often really forget play is important as well.
Yes.
And
Yes.
sports can actually be a great teacher
Yes, yes, correct,
for a
correct.
lot of kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super nice. So, are you still in touch with people from your childhood?
Yes,
All
yes.
your
So like, I mean, we are really close friends. So there are 4 or 5. Like we have a good group. So whenever we go, we'll have some trips also. So we have been some family trips together with my family and my friend's family. So we are again
That's
planning.
lovely.
Planning this year, and we have been in contact like till today. And
That's awesome.
whenever I go home, we will really have a nice time together.
Yeah, I mean, childhood friendships are something very different, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Every time you meet somebody from, at least for me, every time I meet somebody from that time,
yeah.
it's usually like I wind the clock back and I'm 20 years,
Yes, yes.
the conversation start from 20 years back.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And my friends are like in varied fields. My childhood friends, so some are in politics, so
wow,
some are in working in managerial stuff. Some are working in
got
maintaining
it.
a complete factory. So it was altogether fun experience.
Yeah, that's very diverse. I'm curious about your family. So you have, if I recall, I think a brother and a sister.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So
I
you're
have
the middle child.
no, no, no. I'm the eldest one.
You're the eldest one.
After me, my brother, who is currently in Samsung R&D Institute,
Okay.
and a younger sister who is who is going to do MS in IIIT Hyderabad. So
Awesome.
she got MS. She recently cleared and she got admission letter. So her joining date is in July 31st. So yeah, so
Congrats to her.
we have to see whether she will repent her decision on, like, I have suggested to go to MS in IIIT. So I'll get to know after 2 years whether she will curse me or she will remember me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I hope it's a transformative experience for her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
So you are the eldest brother. So being the
Yes.
eldest brother, were you like more responsible or were you just as naughty?
So with
what were you
me,
like?
me and my brother, like during childhood, we were very naughty kid. We used to fight a lot, but now we are very good friends. But
Yeah, that's how it always turns out.
with sister, it was already always responsible, protecting, taking care of,
Mm,
because yeah, it's like some 8-9 years gap. So I've been like protective of
right.
her, responsible of her, like that.
That's very sweet. That's very sweet. So in your household, right, was there like a lot of focus on education or like were your parents very strict or how was it like?
My parents are actually not strict, like not very strict. They were so they imbibed discipline, lot of discipline in all of us. That they themselves work very hard. They go to office. My mother used to travel 90 kilometers every day when we were in childhood.
Wow.
And my father is a very good civil engineer. So that engineering skills were imbibed in us right from childhood. But I think my parents knew that if you like ask people to study, they might take it other way. So they were
Mm,
like, I don't know how they managed, but yeah, all three of us are currently like in good shape. regarding studies and all.
That's great. That's
But they
great.
never they never asked us like what are our grade. I mean, they asked it like till eighth, ninth, 10th standard. But after that, I mean, at least for me, they never asked. And so is the
Mm,
case with the other two siblings as well.
that's nice. Are you going to follow the same parenting model with your kids?
Yeah, I actually had a mind. I know I actually had a brief plan. I want to make. I mean, as I have been shown the various activities like sports and all. So to my kids also, like I wanted. So luckily or unluckily, I was into technology and this stuff. But I wanted to open doors for other extracurricular activities to them, that I want to tell them that there are other activities apart from studies. You can go into
Mm,
sports, you can go into art. So my sister is a very good dancer. So
right.
and my daughter, like kind of picked up interest in her dancing. She seeing her aunt. So like, yeah, I would encourage all those skills as well apart from studies.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's the modern parent.
Yeah.
I'm still like fascinated by your story of your mother traveling 90 kilometers. I mean,
Yeah.
women are something else, right?
Yes, yes,
They
yes.
hold the family together.
Yes, yes.
So can you just talk a little bit more about, like what she was
Yeah.
doing and, why
Yeah.
she was traveling so far?
Yeah, so she was like, it's just about, to have a better education and better facilities for us. So we were in district headquarters, and she had her posting in slightly far from district. So she used to travel, instead of taking us to her location. So she used to travel there, and she excelled at her job, and she is also a very supportive mother. She's also I mean, obviously successful as mother. And so I mean, yes, as you said, like women are really like from other planet. That's what I feel like. The My wife also currently, like the way her patients have been, like I mean, she was working at the same time. She was handling a 1 year 1 year old my daughter. Now she's looking after a son also pretty well. So they are blessed with patience. That is one character like every guy should look up to.
Amazing story, man.
Yeah.
So my mom is also, she used to work until, we decided to go abroad. So I
Yeah.
think like for about a good 6, 7 years or so. So she was in LIC,
Yeah.
and so government job. So you have postings all over
Yes,
the
yes.
place, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And back in the day, so my grandmother was extremely, her mother, that is what
Yeah.
adamant that you have to go from home.
Yeah.
So the posting would be somewhere at the outskirts of Bangalore, and she had traveled
Yeah.
probably like 50, 60 kilometers each way.
Uh,
Do you remember, like, when
yeah.
you were 5 years old, what did you want to become? So we all have these like stupid, very
Yeah.
innocent sort of ambitions when you're small, right?
I don't remember exactly, but my wife is also from the same school. So I she
Mm.
remembers that I wrote to become a scientist in the slam book. So
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah, and yeah, luckily, I mean, luckily, like I pursued PhD, and I traveled in that direction. Yeah, I don't remember
Awesome.
exactly what I wanted to become.
Yeah. So, I mean, so if you have written scientist and now here you
Yeah,
are, Dr. Sagar. So
yeah, yeah.
awesome.
It's
Awesome, man.
yeah. That's what she was saying. Like, you lived your childhood dream, but it was never a dream. It just happened. Like, God blessed us. That's all.
Lovely, lovely. Uh, in your childhood, so now we have moved into technology. Was it just a matter of coincidence, or was there like, did you specifically think that this is something which is like very exciting, or something you're very curious about, and that's therefore you moved in that direction?
Not until my college. Like, at least in my college, I was exploring. Like, I went to cat coaching. I was like, I was traveling in a rudderless ship. Like, I didn't know what
Mm,
what I wanted to do. So should I sit for placement? Should I go for higher studies? Like,
mm,
many of people went to CAT. So I thought, if we don't go, we'll be left behind. So I went there as well. So it was completely a rudderless ship. Like, but
mm.
I mean, when I joined job, I think I got a direction where I needed to be. So yeah, it was not like planned from right from childhood. It just happened along my journey. So some of like my failures also attributed to this station as well. Like, Yeah, it was
Hmm.
not like right. It was not there right from childhood. I would say it was like after during my end of my BTech, I decided to be like, okay, so I had to go to software industry and I have to explore there first. And when I went to a job, then I realized that we should take it to the next level.
So you told that you got some direction once you entered your job.
Yes.
What over there exactly gave you the direction? So if I recall from your timeline, I
Yeah.
think somewhere around 2009 is when you entered your first job at Impetus, right?
No, 2009. No, 2013. Like,
13.
to
All
the
right, your 2009 batch,
yes,
you passed
13.
out, I think, in 13, and
Yes,
13 is
yes,
when you entered
yes,
Impetus. So
yes.
what exactly in your job gave you that direction?
So it's not like any direction. I mean, it's not like it gave, but so whenever I was solving some problems, so there were many unsuccessful problems also in my job, but what I realized is, technology fascinates me. Like, I mean, making something work, felt me much happy. I mean, small things when it worked, it gave me lots of satisfaction. So, and when speaking in technical front, so I was trying to integrate neural networks in some distributed deep learning distributed frameworks which we had then. So I was a data engineer back then. So artificial neural networks, like people, in our company at least, they viewed it just as a tool. But for me, when I wanted to integrate neural networks into the deep learning distributed platform, so I needed to understand the basics of neural networks, how this works, and how the updates happen, and whatsoever. So when I was reading more about that, I felt very very instinct. So I really liked that. So I mean, though that project didn't take off very well, but
Mhm.
the learning made me choose to do higher studies. And even in
Makes
higher
sense.
studies, I was not sure whether to pursue a master's or PhD, but I chose to take a bigger leap and a bigger risk, and chose to do a PhD along that directions.
Okay, interesting. One thing that is that really strikes me here is that several people today,
Yeah,
especially like you look at many of our juniors,
yeah,
they have so much access to information, and they
yes,
know exactly when they enter college first year that they need to do XYZ to get a job in the fourth year.
yeah,
They
yeah,
need to like do like these projects, work with these professors, get this referral in
yeah,
order to get that master seat, and they know they want to do a master's. I feel
yes,
today's kids are like far more aware and
privileged.
somehow yeah, privileged to a large extent.
Yeah,
And I would actually appreciate that somebody explores what they want,
yeah,
right? Really kind of understand and try out a few things, and that
yeah,
journey actually ensures that you are 100% sure that you want to go in this direction.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You tried
That's
out
true. Yeah.
placements, you tried out
Yes.
this, you tried out that, and then you're like, okay, this seems right. And then
Yeah.
after first hand experience at your job,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
you said that,
True.
okay, this is the direction to move in. So I
Yes,
think
true.
that
It's
is.
absolutely true, Abhinav. So, I mean, once your direction gets fixed, like you get that motivation, right? How our initial days of my PhD were, right? So when I joined,
Oh, I
my
know.
advisor, my advisor, like our advisor had some personal reasons and he had to take 1 year leave.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to patiently wait for that, and I feel, since I chose my direction, I didn't give up at that time. So otherwise, if we are still exploring, or if you are not sure about what to do, so I would have quit at that time. My experiences told me that we should be in this field, or if not there, I would have done the same thing in elsewhere. So I
Hmm.
thought, why to go elsewhere? Let's do it here. It's already like top-notch institute in the country, and why to
Hmm.
go elsewhere? Let's wait. Let's be patient there. So
Hmm.
that direction was there when for me when I joined a PhD.
One interesting thing is, so 2013, so 2013 was essentially the time I entered my BTech. That was my
Yeah.
first year. And 2013 was also the time when like deep learning really took off. You had NVIDIA
Yeah.
coming with those
Yeah.
GPUs,
Yeah.
and all of that theory was being
Correct.
tested,
Yeah.
right? So your journey at Impetus, and the fact that, so that was like very new at that time,
Very
artificial,
nascent, very nascent. Like there
very
were not
nascent.
many courses as well. There were not many papers. So 2013, I mean, of course, like after my so your BTech was, like papers. You had to. I mean, you were into the research
Correct.
experience, and my BTech was, like playful. This kind of some joyful. And after fourth year, realizing now what next. We have been playing. We have been doing that. No stuff we never focused on. Because that sort of BTech it was. So
Mhm.
papers, reading papers, studying up to the state of the art was not at all in my, vicinity there. So, but 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 as you said, it was very nascent. So as I said, when I was just trying to make the neural networks, work on in a distributed setting in using the distributed frameworks like Hadoop, Spark present there at that time. So that's when, like, when things got lightened up. Like, yeah, so there are some conferences you have to read some papers. So there is some like people published papers. You have to go there and search for relevant papers. And 2014-15 were like the first, like 2014-15 was like first deep learning era, right? So not even 2013,
Correct.
I believe 2014, from
Correct.
2014. Yeah, so I
Mm.
remember there was one paper from CVIT, IIIT Hyderabad, where they have a problem and they just applied a convolutional neural network to as a classification problem. It strikingly gave very improved results, and it happened, and everything, and it is in CVPR paper, and this happened in a span of 10 days. So a student experimented like CNN for the first time. He got
Got it.
very good improvement over the ImageNet data set, and then he applied to the CVPR conference and he got in. The paper writing, the testing happened in the two or 3 weeks max. So that was very nascent days at that time.
Impossible
Yeah.
to get a paper in even like
Yeah.
6 months or so. It's quite an effort. Quite an
Yes.
effort.
Yes.
You told that you are enjoying a lot in your college days, and so IIT Mandi, for those who don't know,
Yes.
IIT
Yes.
Mandi is basically where you did your bachelor's.
Yeah.
You did it in computer science, or in which
Yes.
field?
Yes. Yeah.
Computer
I've been
science.
graduated with computer science majors.
Computer science. And so you said you were having a lot of fun. So how was
Yes.
your like college days like? Are you still in touch? Did you make a lot of friends? Were
Yes.
you like
Yes.
traveling and
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, playing a lot of
So
sports?
yes, not sports, but so even in during my study at IIIT Hyderabad, so I was staying with my BTech friends.
Hmm,
So it was very enjoyable moment. So those 4 years are like very transformative 4 years, like
true.
chill out 4 years. I mean, we had some studies as well, but as I said, the direction was lacking at that time, and we were the
Mhm.
first batch. So we were trying to keep things
Oh,
together. We were the first graduating batch of IIT Mandi. We were the first to organize fest. We had some protocols in the institute, guiding juniors, and at the same time, it was in like very scenic Himalayas, and there were
mm,
many good places. Right. Kulu Manali was just hardly some 50 100 kilometers away from us. So we have been making multiple trips, and I remember one fond memory of my BTech. So we were like just casually looking at like movies. So like when exams are over or when we find some team. So I'm actually a movie buff. So along
I love
along
it.
with, yeah. So and I was seeing Jodha Akbar movie, and I as I said, I like that ancient cultures, like
Mhm.
forts, palaces. So I saw Jodha Akbar movie like after my exam. And from 12 o'clock, I came back at 1 o'clock, and from 1 to 4, I have watched movie. 6 o'clock, I took bus and went to Jaipur.
Awesome.
So I just wanted to see that fort. So it was like, I mean, yeah, that was very fond memory. And one more
That
fond
was,
memory.
that was like today everybody talks about being spontaneous. That is spontaneous. 4 o'clock, you see the movie, you're like, I love this movie. Let's go visit the fort.
Yeah. So at
Awesome.
6 o'clock, good that, like 4 or 5, I think we 5 people went. So within 2 hours, I convinced 4 or 5 my friends. Everyone joined, and we just went away. Like
That's the
no
tough part,
bookings
isn't
or
it? Yeah,
anything.
yeah. So that's the tough part, though, right?
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
convincing everybody to come.
Yeah. So luckily it was, just that semester end exams, are not semester end exam, but mid exams, I think. So we have a holiday also, like a 1 day holiday. So like we just went Ajmer, Delhi, and Jaipur. So we just went away like that. And another fond memory is we went to 2011 World Cup semi-final match, India versus Pakistan in
Wow.
Mohali, just like that. So that was also
Awesome.
one.
Man, lovely
Yeah.
memories.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how can you? So the problem is the setting also, right? Kulu Manali is so
Yeah.
close by, near the Himalayas.
Yeah.
I remember you showed me this picture, I think once, about the way to reach IIT Mandi, and that is being very beautiful. I think you showed it to me on
Yes.
the
Yes.
internet. Or so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how do you even study there? Like, it's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
So exactly right. So we were doing not trekking, but
Yeah.
we were exploring. So that's why, like I said, right. So we were not very focused in studies, but everyone of our batch and my friend circle were very good now. So they were. We enjoyed a lot. Like slide for and institute also, like based on because of climate and all. So we have 50% attendance. So we exploited that as well. But
Awesome.
yeah, so it was a really fun 4 years, like, and we played hell lot of cricket, man. So every day cricket, like every day after
I
coming
love
from
it.
home. And during IPL match, it was seriously fun. From afternoon 4 o'clock, we'll be in the same room playing TT and watching IPL matches.
This makes me, want to. I wish I could rewind time and go to IIT Mandi now.
Yeah. Yeah,
My
IIT Mandi
BTech was
was.
too serious.
Yeah, you were BTech, and yeah, I realized as I've been telling to
Yeah.
many people. So BTech at IIIT Hyderabad was very serious and
Yeah,
very
yeah,
very
yeah.
studious. So I mean,
You
like,
know,
so that's what helped you also, like, to grow in career very early. But we took a lot of time to get that moment of inertia. But yeah, so but we
true.
had a memorable BTech.
That's awesome. So if you actually look at life progressively, we get busier and busier, and we don't have
Yeah,
time to be this spontaneous and explore so
yeah,
much. So that is the time to do all that stuff.
yeah, yeah,
So I mean, it's perfect. Amazing.
yeah.
I loved
Correct.
your spontaneous story of going to Jaipur after
Yeah,
watching Jodha Akbar. So okay, now let's come to, you have gotten your job. You
yeah,
decided that ML is the space that you want to be in, and this
yeah,
sounds interesting, and you want
yeah,
to look at PhD. So
yeah.
I recall you telling me you got admission in other institutes as well. So specifically, like, why do you think you chose IIIT? And because IIIT, unfortunately, in the industry circles, it's known very well, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have that brand reputation. Even though we are like top performers at ICPC, GSOC, all these top competitions, we get top
Yeah.
salaries. But
Yeah.
but so at the end of that time, IIIT visibility was also not that much. Why did you
No.
choose IIIT?
So I have been offered masters in Stony Brook University and PhD from IIT Kharagpur, but
Okay.
that is in audio domain, but which I didn't want to go, and I wanted to be in vision.
Okay.
But I think IIIT, when I was choosing. So one thing I wanted to do is I had one clear idea is I didn't want to do PhD from IIT because I was already from IIT. I kind of knew that culture there, but so I wanted to explore another institute. So but I think nevertheless IIIT was famous, at least in deep learning and machine learning, computer vision stuff. It was already famous in 2015. When did I join? 2000. Yes, I mean I joined in 2016.
15,
Yeah, so
16.
it was already famous in 2015. So as I said, I was during late years of my job around 2014ish, end 14ish, when I decided to go for higher studies, and when I was working in neural networks, there were some papers from very top conference papers from Professor Jawahar in IIIT and Professor PJ and graphics. So I have gone through those papers,
Got it.
And I have also gone through Professor Abbhinav's papers in around the graph clustering, spectral graph clustering, and all those graph analysis as well. So I think triple IT. I mean, I'm still very fortunate that I joined in triple IT, and I'm very happy about that decision. But I think triple IT was doing very well at that time as well when I
Got
when
it.
I
Got it.
joined.
So basically the work that was coming out of the labs were amazing,
Yes,
and that
yes, yes,
reputation pushed you towards it. One thing I'm thinking about was you went towards ML, right?
yeah,
And was timing a key factor there? Because so essentially, I think you get like about a year and a half. You wanted to be in vision, but you
yeah,
went entered 3D. Like, so how did
yeah.
that transition happen?
Not exactly vision, but when I was reading, I mean, when I was like applying for PhD, and when I wanted to write professor's email, so as I said, so I went through Professor Jawhar's email papers, and Dr. Pijan's email papers, and Avinash sir's papers. So I found that, three animating 3D body, all that, where he has worked on, and the graph techniques, all that. So I got very interested upon that. So so when I joined, I mean, I wrote email directly to Dr. Avinash. I wanted to do the 3D stuff, but I didn't know,
Got it.
like, because we don't know what to do, right? But that looked, fascinating. At least, his algorithms on graphs were like very, very fancy, right? You also know that.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to understand and learn and do research along those directions. But it's not vision, but I actually wanted to work on graph. But later on,
Okay.
after I joined, he shifted his domain, and he worked on 3D and computer vision together.
The big question, how was your PhD like?
PhD was, like very. I mean, one thing PhD taught me was to have patience, and problems will get solved. You will get publications, so you just wait for the right time, and just don't pull off your efforts. Our publication was kind of the first to reconstruct a textured 3D
Correct.
3D human body model, right? From there, it has been a step by step procedure. Like, so from then, like, after in 2018, I had two publications, and from then, I mean, it took a while. No, it's not, it's slightly different from masters, right? In masters, you can work on one topic. Getting one topic, you can, like, you can do something, and we can publish one paper. But after that, we have to publish in the same direction. So we
Correct.
can't deviate our direction. If you deviate our direction, it won't be in our thesis. So that was
Mm,
actually very hard for me. So that's why I took time there to publish, after our initial publications. But along those efforts, so I have proposed a representation to to recover a 3D human body, which is very efficient, very efficient, and very so the entire problem of 3D human body is solved. I mean, is proposed in such a way that it is a 2D problem. So I
mm,
felt it like, so that was also my best moment of my PhD. Like, so when I got idea of that representation, and when I proposed it to our guide, Dr. Avinash, so he felt very happy that this should work. So you have to make somehow this work. But yeah, that was my defining moment in my PhD. Like, I mean, so there were many existing representations, and there are many new representations. So I had our own having our own representation, maybe good or bad, but at least it solved some of the problems of, very high computational complexity of 3D
mm.
for human body. So it was an end-to-end effort, where texture and both geometry of the 3D has been solved in a real time. So we showed a
Got it.
real time performance using that representation. And from that representation, there are multiple very top-notch papers which are published in IJCV journal and ACM multimedia papers. There are follow-up papers of that. So that was so though I took those 2 years of time to get that idea, but it was like stamp of my PhD. where we got a new representation. From there, there are multiple
Everything
follow-up.
gets built up.
Yeah.
So you're talking about PeelNet.
Yeah. Build human. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
But those 2 years
You know,
were very difficult. Like no, not we I'm not getting publication, so I had to wait. I had to be like patient. I had to console myself, and there were lots of things going on personal front also. But getting those two, crossing those 2 years was the biggest challenge in PhD.
yeah, I mean, it is a patience game. And nowadays, I
Yeah.
mean, I see people publishing every 6 months, every 4 months.
Yeah.
And oftentimes there is that FOMO. Even during our time, there are other people, right?
Yes.
Who are like very, very frequent. And you're obviously in that FOMO, and
Yeah.
there's that obviously that fear that sets in that, okay, am I going to be left out, or will I be able to complete this at all? So it looks like such a huge mountain. So I mean, I was an MS student. My requirements are far lesser than yours. But even for like 1/3 of what your requirements are, right? We actually can pass out with just about one publication.
Yeah.
But even for me, it seemed like such a huge mountain. And if I look back, the work that we had done and published, like co-published, right? In today's day and age, that is like something very, very primitive. That is like we just took something from a different place, tried it on here, took something very standard. In today's day and age, that will not work. We have to be far more creative. Two things I want to understand from you. So you said it took you like 2 years to come upon this idea. And associated to idea is creativity. And I have a theory of creativity, which I think I have read elsewhere, but that there are no original ideas. So there's this concept of basis vectors, right, in linear algebra. Where basically the entire space can be as a linear combination, can be represented as a linear combination of these basis vectors. So for the audience, for example, you have the like 3D space, X, Y, and Z axis would be a basis vector. And each of them are your basis vectors, and any point can be represented as some combination of these X, Y, and Z. So similar for ideas, I feel that every new idea, it is nothing but a combination of some old ideas. And what those basis vectors in true life can be, maybe you're looking at a new domain, right? Or maybe you're looking at some other problem somewhere else and trying to adapt that. So that is one aspect of it. And the second aspect of it is, I feel that once you had one publication, then there were like 2-3 more on top of that representation. So every time it's like there's a 1% change, what we call as incremental research, right? So there's a 1% change, 1% change, 1% change, 1% change. And finally, like when I left the group, and now I see your publication, like I understood what was it back then. Today I look at what you guys have published, and it looks like something very new, very novel, and very different. But internally for you people, this is what I realized, was that for you it was like 25 or 35 different 1%, and then finally you came to that conclusion that, okay, this is what it is. Right? What do you think about this? Like, are there like really new original ideas, and how does somebody think creatively or come up with a new idea?
The aim was to address our co-authored publication drawbacks, right? The complexity of the computational complexity of our solution, and the not end-to-end nature of our solution. So and you remember our texture maps were very 64x64, which are not good for our thumbnails also, right?
Correct.
So which are so those are the motivations of something has to be done no more. So we had that motivation of making fast and making end to end. So I was like so for me, like I understood that with the current setups what we have, we can't achieve those rules. So what I did was went back to the graphics domain and the geometry domain. So I have done like computer graphics, advanced computer graphics courses. So there is an slight way how you render translucent objects. So there is one object behind one object, and the first object is translucent. And how do you render those translucent objects?
Right.
So that was not in not a deep learning era. So there were like, then I went through OpenGL code. So then I proved my advisor that this can be done for human body as well. Then I took that translucent idea, and then I came up with the idea of let's peel off one layer and then estimate a next layer of human body. So I mean, I don't want to go to technical details, but there is a seed of the translucent object rendering in my representation.
Makes sense. Makes sense. That actually gives a lot of insight, right?
Yeah.
So, for somebody who is actually struggling to find a breakthrough for new ideas, so your advice would be perhaps like look at other domains, look at what's
Yeah.
happening elsewhere, see how relevant that is in your context, and
Yeah.
perhaps like try to work around that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
So there are like, so I think 3-4 years into, or 2017, 2018 or so, 3-4 years into your PhD, I think
Yeah.
later on there were courses in IIIT on the research methodology. I think that's
Yeah. Yeah.
Professor Ravikaran who was taking this
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
And I felt that was extremely relevant because during our time, we were just figuring things out,
Yes. Yes.
right? We were like,
Yeah.
okay, what are the shortcomings? How do we address
Yeah.
them? So we were like very, very. So what do you think, in your opinion?
Yeah.
Now you have like so many
Yeah.
publications,
Yeah.
and approaching problem solving is very, very critical, right? How
Yes.
do you
Yes.
approach that? So let's say you are given a new problem today, right?
Yeah.
For people who don't understand how to go about it, like how do I just think about something new, right?
Yeah.
What is the right research methodology that you follow, or what you would recommend?
Yeah. So I would not think of having new ideas. So
Mhm.
first thing you had to do is you have to fix on what problem you are working on. Like
Mm.
so let's say if my body was 3D human body estimation from monocular RGB images or blah 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 whatsoever. So whatever problem is there, so go to first thing you have to know is reading a research paper thoroughly. So there are many conferences. So right now there are archive, like every 3 or 4 minutes there might be a paper, we don't know, based on the no
Correct.
field. So but like if you go through the top conference papers, like papers, the proceedings they will release after the conference, so you go through that and find your relevant, forget about new ideas. Okay, forget about new ideas. So take a paper, no all the relevant papers, and see there is any code. So run, no install that code in your domain, like whatever domain. So forget about their paper shortcomings or anything. So forget about everything, just play with the code. Like
Mm.
like understand, like let's say there is a facial animation work you are doing. So the image should be like cropped. So what happens if we give a far away image? So what happens if the image doesn't focus your face? uh, uh, so what happens in those kind of, so like drawbacks
Experiment.
of, yeah, drawbacks of the current approaches. Figure out what is, like, why is that drawback occurring. Like, no, my suggestion is like forget about a new idea for now. So
Mm.
just play with all the state of the art methods. And
Mm.
after you play, you know the drawbacks. And then since you have already read the paper, corresponding paper, and you played with that code, you know the drawback of the methodology. And by luck, you might directly get a solution. That depends on your luck. You might directly get, if you do this problem will get solved. So
Right.
if you directly caught that, if you have been blessed by God, that will directly come. Otherwise, be patient, explore things, and try to address those drawbacks. Like, so you don't need to find a new problem, or like, so there are sufficient problems. So, and
Mm.
there are people worked on those problems, and there are many problems which are not solved to 100% extent. Like,
Mm.
like in our 3D body. So there are many works on that. So take those. So for there are no license constraints or anything for students. So you can just take that as it is, and then you can play whatsoever. So like focus on that. So as I said, if you are lucky enough, you will just directly, based on your basics you had, or based on the courses you had, you might just get a thought, no, we can do this to improve this. So that works. So even and don't be afraid of, is this incremental, is this like delta change. So don't be afraid of any of those. Don't think of publication at all. So just implement that, that change which you might get. So you get that change, you just code it up, and then see if it is really improving the results cited in that paper. So you take it to your guide. So discuss with that. So even if your guide says that this is incremental, so don't just give up. So so just say that, so we have to this is publishable. So see, there are many publications like that. So you don't need to you don't need to be like less confident. You just yeah, that was the research methodology. I think is better. I mean, that's in my perspective. Like, yeah, everyone has their own pathway.
Got it. Yeah. So I think few things I draw from this. One is several research papers, they state what their drawbacks are.
Yeah.
But even that is like very at a high level.
Yes.
And it is not as specific enough to give you an idea where you can address and what is the extent of that drawback.
Yeah.
Some people might say, oh, we are not good at side poses or something. But how much they are not good at, you understand only with experimentation.
Yes.
Right.
Correct.
So playing and figuring out where the loophole is and where you can really like make your play. I think that is one insight I got from you on that. The second thing was on not to be afraid of incremental research, which I think is very important because in the starting, we are all very underconfident. That's what I feel. Like, especially when you enter a new field, you don't understand. So some small step to, get some confidence. And then after that, we can always build on top of that, like what you did. Right. And, this is some trend that I see across several, like most researchers, their first piece of work is always
at least in
small.
top groups. This is the actual trend.
That was awesome. Now you have actually essentially you've been the leader of this team, right? Which is now become like the top 3D group in the country. And you're the senior most member, and not just your own thesis, you have like guided so many other students. So what do you like, how do you exactly guide these students? What do you expect from them?
It's not guiding. So everyone, like people like you, there are many other folks. They are self-motivated and self-talented. Man, there is no. I mean, everyone needs is just direction. So we don't need to. So I was lucky, and I think I was lucky to be in IIIT, and there are many motivated students. All we need to do is just to give a right direction. That's all. So there are people will figure out their own solutions, and also all we need to do is show right problem. And while submit to this conference, submit to that conference, don't submit to this conference. So if we submit, we might face rejection. So and how to write paper, this kind of stuff. But they are terrific coders. I'm not that a great coder, but there are terrific coders. So there is no drawback of coding. So that is, you guys are pros in that. I mean, you guys are all ACM, ICPC winners. What all winners? I don't know. I don't even know the competition names. So you guys are pro coders. So there is no need of that backing up, that motivation. So you and just like, so having the right problem, so right now I feel that when I was in my PhD, so but I could still guide students much better now, because I came out of that pressure of graduation and everything. So now I have my own research methodology. So now I can now I understand how to make students motivated, and how to make give some problem and take that. I would follow what all research methodology I would just follow. Told you in the last conversation. So yeah, I mean, there is nothing much required, at least in groups like IIIT. So you have to give some right problem. Just say that when there are not good results, say that so we could still do some experiments, some delta experiment. Let's see. So just motivation. So keeping a correct motivation, something, it's a research work together. So I mean, people in IIIT are very brilliant. So we don't need.
I think you are selling yourself short. The reason being, direction is extremely critical. Right. Like if somebody is not given that initial guidance and on telling that this is how, for the silliest of reasons, like you have just written a bad introduction to your paper, you might get a rejection, right? So direction is very, very critical. The technical aspect of it, a lot of people have. But the differentiator between how big you make it is often the direction. So don't sell yourself short. I think that's a very, very important aspect of research. Is the research methodology any different in, like, so now you are at Qualcomm, right? Is it any different in the industry versus academia?
So in industry, like at least our group at Qualcomm, so we make XR headsets and the software behind that. So it is slightly product oriented, but nevertheless we are always at the state of the art research. So I mean, and personally speaking, as I said before, earlier I had the pressure of graduation, publishing papers and all. So right now I'm free of that pressure, and I'm really enjoying my research. Like I'm literally in very comfortable position in terms of research right now. So I mean, the same work which I was doing back at college, but with slightly a relaxed mind, and this product here, but still the research methodologies, everything is same. So we invent new solutions, but we would keep it to the product, and we as corporate is, so we yeah, sometimes we publish also, but still I was like in less than 1 year at Qualcomm, but this has been my experience so far.
Got it. Got it. So basically, the skills that you sort of learned during your PhD,
Yeah.
they're all transferable, and it's not necessarily the
Yes.
same domain.
Yes.
You can
Yes.
like
Yeah.
work on any domain, any problem,
Yes.
and once you understand how to solve, it's now a hammer. You can apply the
Yes.
hammer
Yes.
anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
in the field that you're working in currently, and in your experience in 3D, do
Yeah.
you like what are like the huge big challenges which need to be addressed? So I think one thing you had mentioned earlier, I think, was data, if I'm not mistaken. I
Yes.
think data is
Yes.
a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
What else is a problem, like, and how big a problem are these? And essentially 3D has always been this field which is always promised, right?
Yeah.
It's always promised that it's going to be something huge,
Yeah.
but we are still like quite some distance away. So
Yes.
what
Yes. Yes.
requires to be solved to reach that status of the like the next $1 billion industry?
There, yeah, we are sitting. Yeah, we are devices coming up, right? So, in terms of that, no, applications of 3D are very diverse. Like, and as you said, like 3D is slightly difficult because of the data set. So we can't just have like some images and get 3D. So we should have, if you want to have a temporal like 4D, like where each frame is a 3D body, you have to have multiple cameras, and every camera should be in sync. And so this is a very difficult type of it's a very difficult type of problem, but has tremendous amount of applications in the current industry out there. And uh, and people are solving it incrementally, right? So 3D so as I said, no, deep learning came at around 2015, and it has been intensely applied to images today. And 3D is still implementing the reverse laws of data. And in images you can just capture an image with your mobiles, but that's not the case with 3D, right? So when you were able to get 3D out of your a single image, then things will diverse. So that's where we were working on, right? So we were still working on that, like, so your work and my work, every work was along those directions, like getting 3D from your hand pocket mobile. So once you do that, it would really scale up. So I mean, still, it is still in nascent stages, and every technology will have some buffer time to get developed. So once that buffer time is crossed, it would like exponentially increase. And with advent of XR devices like HoloLens, the recently introduced Vision Pro, and we have our own Snapdragon chips, XR chips in Qualcomm. So these are all like enabling the technology slowly. And I would really, I mean, I'm really anticipating in like few years from now, so headphones will be replaced by XR headsets. I mean, that's
Hmm.
ambitious move, but at least I would expect some 40-50% of mobile phone users will be replaced with XR devices. So
Hmm.
it is, so that's the
There's
main challenge in. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Abhinav,
yeah,
please.
no, yeah, no, no. So one thing very interesting that you said right now, I don't think many people have said it before.
Yeah.
It's that, so most people say that, your AR, VR headsets, they are going to like replace traditional media, right? They are going to replace video calling. They're going to replace a lot of other things. And one constant debate against that is that, these are so bulky, these are so heavy, and so on and so forth. But you gave a different spin on it by saying that they are going to replace headphones, right?
Headphones, mobile phones, mobiles.
So I think headphones, and if you look at headphones like the one I'm wearing, it's a bulky one.
Bulky,
right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So that's a very, very interesting take on it. And actually, if the product is positioned in that way, that it's actually giving you high quality audio,
yes,
then people might begin accepting it. I think that's a very, very interesting.
So slowly these are all, this will take time. Like once we have features on top of in the XR platform, so these are all ergonomics, right? We call all these ergonomics. Like all these ergonomics will be like slowly engineered. Like there are many efficient engineering teams right in Qualcomm or Apple or many. So they are investigating there. So how to make device slim. So there are lots of research going on there. So how to reduce the camera size. So there are lots of research going on there apart from this. So I would really expect, like in some 3-4 years, people might really use XR headsets to the extent which we all imagined, where 3D our stuff will be like the hot stuff. No, that will be there.
That's the dream.
That's
the dream.
correct.
So just there's one other thing which is like pretty different, which I thought about in industry versus academia, is that in academia you actually still focus on a small data set, niche problem, whereas in industry, if you're doing something for like an XR headset for mass production, you're trying to build at scale.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So is there anything specifically different that you do right now to ensure you build at scale?
So in our research, like while we are publishing papers, we have limitations and future work, right?
Yeah.
That should not be there in the devices which we sell. There are no limitations. There are no future work. Future work might be there, but there should not be many limitations. So it should work, right? So we work with that precision. So we should not, there should not be much limitations like whatever indoor setting, outdoor setting. So we ensure we rigorously test all of those. That's the main difference. Like, so we live with the limitations in research at the academia, but we'll not live with the limitations in industrial research.
So a huge step towards that you are saying is essentially to test far more before you get the product out and iterate. So the number of iterations are more.
Yeah, as I said in the research methodology, so you have to test, you have to take one code, test the drawback. So same here, like you test your device which you have developed at varied settings and see where all it is having some trouble. So incorporate those in your algorithms. What can we do to incorporate those? So it's the same stuff into two different directions, but it's the same stuff. Yeah.
Makes sense. So Sagar, there's this whole boom that's happened with generative AI. Right? In 2D, primarily in 2D, in the image space, and of course also in the text space. Do you see anything kind of seeping into the 3D with this whole? I think there are works based on attention, but is there like some significant LLMs or equivalent models kind of like seeping into 3D?
Yes, actually. So this is the era of generative AI, currently going on. So I feel that for every few words, like as we discussed earlier, 2015 was the deep learning era, and now it has shifted from deep learning era to subset of deep learning era, which is generative AI. As you said, it's already like pierced into both images and natural language processing, and you can expect the same thing in 3D as well. But as we discussed earlier, the data in the 3D was still a bottleneck. But I think domain specific generative AI problems like generate a mesh with generate a human body mesh wearing some kurta. So you could expect this kind of 3D models in the future, like not in very long future, but I would expect that in coming year. So like and apart from that, generate you can this is what we just discussed was in 3D, but the same could happen in 4D as well, like generate a motion like a Bharatanatyam dance sequence of a girl wearing some like some their ethnic wear, and you could describe it with textual attributes. And from there, the problem might scale up to describing the scenes as well, like generate the scene, 3D scene where walls are some show color and there are a bedroom scene or a study room scene. So you could describe that, generate a scene with forest as a backdrop with generate a scene with ice background also. So these are all like very applicable problems, and you could expect that in future. Yeah.
Is there something like, do you know of some papers or some pieces of work that are already published and in this domain, like 3D generative methods?
Yeah, there are some
Started.
papers. Yeah, like there is a paper called Avatar Grows Legs, where if you give partial inputs, a partial pose, so it will generate the full body pose in 4D. So yeah, there are sequences.
Okay.
There are works coming up, but it's still
Correct.
like very nascent area, and it's if you really want to come back to research, and you could take that as your PhD research topic or whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it's too late for that.
Yeah, so
uh,
that's a budding
okay.
topic for me. I mean,
You
what I
know,
understood.
the thing with 3D is
Yeah,
data is a problem, but
yeah,
also the representation itself is very unique, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
for the 3D problems, in order to, like, let's say, do some sort of convolution on top of meshes, we have,
yeah.
like, say, graph convolution
Craft.
networks, or we have 3D
Yes,
convolution networks.
yes,
And you essentially have required newer and newer
yes,
constructs to
yes,
address the 3D.
yes,
So
yes, yes.
so for generative AI, like, essentially, it came from the world of NLP. There
Yeah,
are,
yeah,
like, these vision transformers which have been adapted to the vision domain. So I
yeah,
presume it's going to be something similar for 3D, where
yeah.
you have to design something new on the basis of this. So that's going to be, like, quite a important piece of work, which I'm not sure if it's been done yet.
I believe so. As it said, like various representations. I believe so. Currently the works are going on majorly on mesh representation because there is some notion of surface and color into it. But I think so there are implicit functions representation in 3D. So these works would come up. Still, I don't think they have been published, or up to my knowledge. I haven't seen much works on that. But yes, there will be generative works coming up in the future based on these misrepresentations. I mean, even
Mm.
now people said that the volumetric representation also will start again booming up with because all the traditional convolutions can be extended. So there are lots of stuff coming up, interesting coming up with advent of like large scale, like the A100 GPU. So we have a good training
Mm.
capacity, right? So we should really look forward how the technology progresses for especially in 3D now in the generative AI. So
Mm.
given that generative AI will come up to the 3D, so we should really look forward on what kind of topics the researchers would bring in.
Yeah, it's a very, very hot space.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
continuously talk about, the problem of data, the
yeah,
problem of how much effort it requires to capture this data.
yeah,
So just so that people know, right? So we
yeah,
have, for example, a setup in IIIT. Can you
yeah,
kind of just tell, like, how much that costed and what is the effort required to sort of set
yeah.
that up?
So as part of my PhD work, we have released a dataset called 3D Humans. So it
Hmm.
has around 250 scans of Indian population wearing Indian clothes. So these scans have been captured by a handheld scanner, which is
Hmm.
of worth 16 to 18 lakhs. So
Hmm.
that is one particular scan which includes hardware and software with texture. So the equipment, the scanning equipment itself is very costly in 3D. So it's not a very commercially feasible solutions, right? So you
Hmm.
can't. I mean, if I want to do a remote research alone in India, alone in the home, especially in 3D area, it's very difficult. So you will hit obstacles. I mean, everywhere where you will find the processing might be a bottleneck. The computational capacity you have will be a bottleneck, and the data set is a bottleneck, and yeah, so there will be many bottlenecks. So we also had multi-camera capture system. So as part of my internship with the Dreamwoo, we built multi-camera RGBD sensor a framework which is like real like not very real time, but we were able to achieve solution till 20 fps, where but the challenge is like we had like 4K camera RGB camera and the depth camera. So you had to align both RGB depth camera. So there are hardware issues as well. Like yeah, it's not just like so you software issues. So you have to have all the cameras in sync. You have to
Right.
develop that synchronizer. If there are some RGBD cameras which were released by Microsoft called Kinect. So these Kinect have they have a manual, they have a synchronizer built in provided from the Microsoft itself. So if you use those Kinects, so then the synchronization might be easy. But if you but the drawback of that Kinect is the number of the resolution of RGB image was not that great. So yeah, there are many pros and cons. Like yeah, there are many companies in the world like 3dMD and render people who just take the 3D data. So they were their model, the selling model is create data and sell, or create the hardware to create to generate the data and sell. So there are many companies also, like these are not small companies. There are very well revenue generated companies. It's very challenging to capture 3D data. It requires lots of processing, and one people or two people cannot solve that problem. So it should be done with a group of good talented individuals.
Yeah, it's a very interesting problem. And so most of the data sets out there, a lot
Yeah,
of the stuff comes from the West. There's a group in Germany that is dominant,
yeah,
the US groups, and
yeah,
all of that data. So the most interesting part in the data that you have released is
yeah.
it's all Indian, right?
Yes, yes,
The kind of deformations we have in saris,
yes,
kurtas,
yes,
this
yes,
is all
yeah,
very complicated. And the
yes, yes,
Western solutions, plug
yeah,
and play solutions don't work in India.
yes, yes, yeah.
And so
Similar
this
to
is like a,
autonomous driving, right? So autonomous driving
yeah,
doesn't work on Indian roads. So
true,
it's the
true.
it's the same thing. Yeah,
True, true. So for people looking for opportunities, this is like a great space.
yeah,
And can you explain a little bit about the handheld scanner and how difficult it is? Because you require a person to scan still. And like,
yes,
what is like
yes.
the typical capture time? How does it work?
Yeah, so yeah, I'll just give you a brief setup of this capture. You have to stand in a pose still for 4 to 5 minutes. You should be like a statue. So and no handheld. So people will. I mean, the scanner I have scanned with like I mean covering each and every portion. So sometimes one scan might not be sufficient. Even if you have slight movement, the entire scan get screwed up. So almost like for every scan, I would have on an average I would have taken some 500 scans. So if you take so there might be more. There might be more also. So even I took in the 250 scans. Even my scans are three scans with different clothes and different poses. So I mean, it was really a deal to stand for such a long time. But
Yeah.
there are other modes of capture also. So if you have
Hmm.
multiple like 4K RGB, so there is, I mean, without handheld scanner, there are multiple other solutions also. But we realized, I mean, we relied on handheld scanner for accurate geometry. Otherwise, for multiple RGB cameras, you could expect some traditional computer vision artifacts like multi-view stereo. So you could expect some artifacts, but we wanted like a reliable data set. So yeah, that
Makes sense.
and uh,
Makes
and
sense.
and the multiple RGB camera the setup itself will be way costlier than this handheld scanner. So you could expect around 80-90 lakhs to get that
Yeah.
up.
You brought about a very interesting point, which is that any person sitting in their home, they can't just do research on 3D. Whereas that kind of research is possible
Yeah.
in 2D. Whereas
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
3D,
Yeah.
the fact you need integration with data, you need those systems, and also, to be
Yeah.
honest, I don't know how the tools are there, how the tools are right now, but like back when I was studying, the 3D tools were not very self-explanatory. Like the
Yeah.
tutorials, the guides, none of them were very, very great.
Yes. Yes.
So you do
Yeah.
need people who are already worked on them and figured it out to
Yeah.
kind of really guide you on it.
Yeah. So
Uh,
when you were there, if you want to render any mesh, we would always rely on OpenGL, right?
yeah,
How complex OpenGL is.
yeah.
So, but now there are some good rendering. Even PyTorch 3D also renders
Mm,
image. So there are softwares like PyOpenGL is there, which is Python interface, which is much easier than this PyRender is there. TriMesh is there. So there are some mesh processing tools, which were not there at all back then. So this is yeah. Currently, it is slightly better when it was compared to in
mm,
2018 like that. So now it is slightly
makes
better.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, good that there's improvement. So this is all about, your journey in academia, the research. Now you're in actually industry, right? And it's
Yeah.
difficult
Yeah.
it's difficult to stay updated because things are constantly
Yeah.
changing and you're just focused on your work. When I was
Yeah.
working for a startup, I was just focused on it's very applied, right? So I was just focused
Yeah.
on whatever tool is there. Let me just apply it as quickly as possible, get the result out there. And there was no intrinsic
Yeah.
understanding of what is there under the hood.
Yeah.
And we had to move very, very fast. Uh,
Okay.
when I had to get back into the job market, I look
Yeah.
back and see, what are companies doing? What are they looking for? And the field has just moved elsewhere. So now that you've kind of made the shift into the industry, how do you kind of stay updated? Do you read like papers?
Yes. Yes.
Like what exactly is your methodology?
So luckily in our team, no, everyone has research background, and like my manager is PhD from University of Southern California, and my director was PhD from IIT Bangalore, and my colleagues were PhDs from. So I mean, like around 75% of our team are from PhDs from renowned institute. So and we have a dedicated session every week to stay updated on the research. So recently we have a CVPR paper also, papers also, and we create a list, and we read the conferences, and we see what all what all papers are related to our work, and we read them and we discuss in it's weekly one. So it is similar to our group what we had in back in college. So we still do that in office. So yeah, it was kind of, I was fortunate to be in the group where they have focus on reading papers and bringing up. So as I said before, so we keep the methods also, where so we keep the methods up to date as the research evolves. So we are open to
Hmm,
new solutions. So yeah, still it's not very far from academia, except that we are not publishing rigorously now.
got it. Got
Yeah.
it. Got it. I mean, that's extremely key, right? And
Yeah.
industry and academia, they have to kind of work hand in hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only then it's like really, really possible because one is pushing the boundary and it has to be funded by the other, and that knowledge feeds back to the industry again. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
this beautiful cycle that has to exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Correct.
Awesome. Okay. So this was all about, your professional journey, but
Yeah.
often when we kind of like there's more to you, right? There's obviously more to you. And that's the part I kind of want to understand right now. All of
Yeah.
us, at least in the Indian society, when we kind of introduce ourselves, we say, hey, I am Abhinav. I
Yeah.
work in so and so company as a, computer vision specialist. And the other guy then introduces themselves. But obviously,
Yeah.
we are also like, I'm also a husband, like you're also a
Yeah.
father. And those
Yeah.
aspects are not as often explored. So I kind of want
Yeah.
to understand. So you keep on doing a lot of social media on your kids. I see like a lot of statuses that are put on your kids. So I want to
Yeah.
understand like how has fatherhood been for you?
Yeah, it has been like a very exciting journey and a very fruitful journey. So holding my kids in the arms is like the like that was like the really best, especially in the first kid. Like it was truly a different bliss feeling. So from then, like even yesterday, so we day before yesterday, we went our team went for a team outing, and when I came back in the night, so she was still active. So I wanted, I mean, I had to motivate myself or bring back my energy to keep playing with my daughter. So it was very fun. Like whenever I'm done, I just close everything. I keep my mobile very far, and I mean, I'll just go and play with her. She has all the toys, and I'll just go and play with her, and I'll do it very often. So yeah, she makes my day every day. So it will be like morning she will be waking up, she'll be waking, and she'll be troubling me, and we play together. So yeah, it's really like boon. Like and I'll try to reserve after PhD I'm trying to reserve some personal space. I'm trying to decoupling. During PhD it was like all mixed up, and but now I'm trying to keep that culture with myself, where from after I come from office, I'll just try to keep all the office stuff away and directly just spend the time with kids and family. So I'm trying to already incorporate that culture within me. And yeah, so I mean, it's really fun to be a father till now. Let's see. So it's also and it's motivating as well, right? So like I remember when my kid was born, the first kid. So during the peak COVID, I just after a week I went back to office to finish my PhD, and like so it is motivating as well, right? So it's not only it's a responsible position. So yeah, I mean, it helped me to finish my PhD. I was in doubts, but all doubts were cleared
So
when I became father.
so basically she gave you a new purpose and
Yeah,
motivation in life.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
beautiful. You said that you're trying to maintain this balance between work and life.
yeah.
Why is that? Why do you suddenly feel that?
No, it's just like that. I mean, not my need actually, but I feel the kids' need, right? So kids should not feel that yeah, father is always in work, but I mean, I want them, like after they grow up. So I want. So right now, I had memories with my parents, like roaming, traveling, and all. So I mean, I also expect my kids to have the same feeling about their parents. So and I'm gonna try to like avoid work. I mean after
Got it.
evenings, so
Got
they
it.
should enjoy their time.
And it's a stress buster also for you, right?
Yeah, correct, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you like an over possessive father? Like, oh, you're gonna get hurt, don't do this, don't go here, don't do
No,
that.
no, 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 not.
Okay, you're the
Uh,
free
so,
spirit.
yeah. I mean, my father says I am overprotective, but I don't think. I mean, yeah. So when my grandfather would have seen my father, he would have told the
You would have
same
said
thing.
the same thing.
So the generation, so that generation is there, right? Otherwise,
Right.
I'm like freely free father, right? No, that
Lovely.
otherwise the generation gap would be still there, but yeah, otherwise I'm a free spirited father.
Lovely, lovely. Awesome. Um, we're going to talk about something different now. This is like
Okay.
sort of personal news. So I know that from college times, you've had this aspiration that you want to start your own university,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I want to understand why that is. So usually people don't have these kind of dreams. Most people,
yeah,
they say, I want to do an MBA, I want to go to the US, I want to earn big, I want to have a big car. You
yeah,
have a dream of starting a university someday. So tell me a bit
yeah.
about that.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, that was a dream, right? I mean, when I joined the PhD, like I thought, I should transfer this knowledge to some place. And there are many, like India is being a large country. We have a diverse set of students, and there are many good students in the rural areas. And so I came from not so big town, like a decent town with slightly rural background. So I felt that I mean, for some rural, some not so educated people about our IIT Hyderabad or IIT, and so many people doesn't know about IIT entrances, all these
Right.
kind of 10th 12th coaching. So because of which they would miss their BTech in very good colleges. So but they are indeed very talented students. So that's why. So that's what and the same dream is from my father. So he also wants a very good educational institute. So yeah, it's a shared dream. Let's see when it happens. So that is there
That's
down the
lovely.
line. But yeah, I don't know when it would be realized.
That's lovely. That's lovely. So basically, you're saying that there exists like a lot of talent, and you want to give a platform to people
Yes, yes,
from a lot of smaller places. So you're thinking
yeah,
of something maybe close to your hometown,
yes,
starting
yes.
something over there. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
Very nice.
moreover, like I want to keep it in triple IT setup where research is introduced right in the very beginning of your
Right.
career, where you have lots of energy, right? So in BTech you could do anything.
Correct.
So if you just give a flavor of research to them, at least 1 in 100 might pick it up and take it to next level.
Correct. Correct.
So yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
The
and I
unfortunate
felt
part,
I
sure, sure.
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And I felt not many private institutes have excelled in that. So there is
Mm,
still that gap. So some
very true.
IITs and triple IITs were doing well, but there is still a gap of publication and oriented research in at least
Mm.
in private institutes.
What I was going to say was that, a lot of people say in, for example, US, they
Yeah,
limit themselves to their own small towns and their own places. So they grow up there, they study
yeah,
there, they work there. And that ecosystem allows them to remain, in those places because there's enough opportunity and they like it over there. Like who would not want to be in their own places, right? If you have
yeah,
access to everything. Now,
yeah, yeah, correct.
unfortunately, in India, probably because we are a developing nation and we have not really
Yeah,
reached that scale, the
yeah,
rural aspect of it is often overlooked. Is often overlooked. A
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
businesses also they start in urban centers. So
yeah,
that way, I'd say, yeah, awesome dream. I hope it comes true someday.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I
Thanks,
want
thanks,
to
Abhinav.
understand. Yeah, I want to understand. Your focus on giving back to society, right? That's essentially at the
Yeah,
core at what this is. Do you
yeah.
think society has had a major role in making you who you are today, and therefore you want to give back?
It's not therefore, but yeah, I mean, we are where we are because of the society and because of the family and because of
Mm,
the educational institutes and everything. So it's not that I wanted to give back or anything, but I felt that there is a need, for underprivileged
mm,
students in the rural area. There is a need. When they are so
got it.
eligible to grab that opportunity, but no one has introduced them to that opportunity, right? So in my BTech, I was not introduced to the research. So I didn't know
Very
that
true.
there are papers. You have to read papers. You have to do that. So that introduction, there should be many. So that introduction can be in many platforms. Like we could educate them via like a lecture series or anything. But I felt that
Mm,
in this way that many underprivileged people can afford not at all a profit motive in institute, but it should be a
mm,
research oriented institute
got it.
which can be of use to the many people. Yeah,
The next thing I want to understand is, so you've talked a lot about giving platform to people
yeah,
and about your bachelor days. Now you're at Qualcomm, right? You're
yeah.
in a reasonably good position. What does success mean to you? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it recognition? Is it the designation you're at? What does success mean to you? Tough question, but
for
what does it mean to you?
no, for me, For me, nothing. I mean, success means like you should enjoy what you are doing, right? So that's the main measure of success. What I would feel, and that success depends on different position. I mean, different persons as well. Like for me, like being happy with what we do, and like small goals of these sequentially realizing these dreams, like I mean, whether it is small dream or big dream or anything. So it should be like realizing those dreams and making a way towards those dreams. So every single step in realizing those dreams, those dreams are not a single leap, right? So
Correct.
they are steps to be climbed, so each step is a
Correct.
success. So it's not like, and every small step, like graduating PhD or publishing one paper is a success. I
Awesome.
know everything, like everything. So after I graduated, like being now doing what I want. Like luckily, like not for many PhD students, but luckily for me, I'm working in what graduated with. So I'm working in
Mm.
the like almost similar, not almost, but very close 3D stuff. So and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So yeah, all these attributes to success. It's not, there's no single definition, I believe,
Got
but
it.
no, I always want to be happy with what I do, and if I'm doing that, I'm successful. I don't care about
Got it.
positions or anything. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So, given all that, I mean, you have great ambitions going ahead, but would you consider yourself as successful today?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So today I'm doing. I mean, like, I mean, yeah. So I mean, if I look back, from where I was in my BTech. So in my BTech, I have like I have it was around 6 point someone, not 5 point someone, but it was 6 point someone. From 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 there, coming taking job, and then from in triple IT with all of you, like BTech. So I have got like several A plus grades in all the
Mm.
courses, and then finishing my PhD. Yeah, it was a good fruitful journey, and yeah, I
Lovely.
mean, I've made the small successes in this fruitful journey.
Awesome. Awesome. Do you have any regrets along the way? Something you could have done differently, or an opportunity you could have used more, or something that you had perhaps let go?
Yeah. So there are some works during my PhD that we already like we started working the lab. Like let's so example, there is a paper called the Pro 3D paper, which
Mm.
is a synthetic 3D data set paper. So we proposed that, and we have been generating that data set, and sadly, like because of slow implementation or some reasons, I've slightly left behind. And when I was like, so we aimed it to submit to ICCV, which happens in March. But we saw a paper around in December, which along like very similar data set and all the methodology. So it happened multiple times in
Mm.
during my PhD. So I felt that I should have been like swift in implementing the ideas. And so yeah, that
Mm.
swiftness, like I've been conservative, like whether this is a novel idea, whether this is, so
Mm.
if there should be an idea. It should, I mean, the idea is novel or not, that's not of
Lovely.
concern. There should be an idea, and you have to
Lovely.
believe in that idea, and you have to take it forward, and you have to believe in yourself and that idea. So I always doubted my ideas, so whether they're novel
Got
enough.
it.
So I
Got
didn't
it.
I don't if given opportunity, I don't want to do that again.
Great. Great. So basically, what you're saying is, A, find some step and
Yeah,
just you jump first and figure it out later, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's one, because action is extremely critical. And I
yeah,
think the second thing you're saying is have conviction in yourself. Like
yeah.
once you have, don't have some high amounts of self-doubt. Okay,
Yes,
awesome,
yes.
awesome. Along this way, I mean, we all work for a living. So what
Yeah,
does money mean to you? Because you said, do not want to start an institute for money. I
yeah,
don't want to, like, I'm successful because I'm able to get satisfaction out of my work. So what does money
yeah.
mean to you?
So money is just a way of like just to
Exchange?
just to realize our daily life activities, right? So I'm not very interested about luxury or anything, but
Mm,
I just want money to, like, take my kids to school, go for some trips. So I mean, I would see money as a tool to realize these small dreams,
mm.
but I'm not seeing money as a luxury, and I don't want to be on that era of having luxury or anything. But yeah, I mean, it's a tool to realize our small dreams.
Got it, got it. Spoken like a true
Yeah.
researcher.
Yeah, that's what our guide was telling, right? So
True, true, true. Very true.
yeah.
Uh, you've had a great journey. I want to know what is like the most difficult obstacle you've overcome and are extremely proud of, whether it's in your personal
Uh,
life, professional life, something that you thought that, oh, this just, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this at all. What do you
yeah.
think is that?
Mm, yeah, that's a difficult question. Uh, yeah, so there was something going on during my marriage. So I thought it would be very, very difficult, but I somehow pulled off.
Great,
So that
great. You
and
know,
that happened during my turmoil in the PhD also, like that 2 years gap and all. So
got
sticking
it.
on to that 2 years and leaping from that 2 years was the biggest obstacle I had.
Yeah. You know, the beautiful thing about this, I asked this question to a lot of
Yeah,
people who have
yeah,
accomplished a lot in their career,
yeah.
and often they refer to their something in their personal life as
First,
their biggest accomplishment, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
And we are always so focused on our professional life. We spend 8 hours, 9 hours every day over
yeah,
there. And at the end
yeah,
of the day, we say that, hey, our biggest accomplishment is in our
yeah,
personal life.
yeah, yeah,
Nice, nice.
yeah.
Awesome, awesome, man. You know, getting through this whole journey,
Yeah.
did you have like any big mentors or people you really looked up to?
So I really like. So I mean, I personally don't have any. I mean, mentors. So I think everyone are equal around my size. So there is no up or down.
Hmm.
But there are some things I really like, some events or some things. So there are a couple of movies which I really look up to. Like, so there is this movie called Pele. Everyone knows
Okay.
about that. So
Ah,
the way Pele enjoys his his football is, that is very in a different level. I've seen that enjoyment, that the enjoyment scene, like, where he breaks his shackles and he'll just go on set for free, right? So
right.
that always motivates me. And there is another movie, Check the India, so that also
Hmm.
motivates me. Like, the way it's not like events, but I just feel fresh that okay, now we can work. So we should, I mean, Pele is really Pele movie is really very close to my heart. Like, I really like that movie. And after watching movie, I read about Pele. I've watched his videos. He's a true legend. And he really enjoyed, I mean, what he did. So that was one thing. I really want to do my work similar to like that. So I had to break
Hmm.
shackles and just enjoy what we are doing. So that was one thing. And yeah, I also look up to, like, one of sports personality, Saurav Ganguly. So
Hmm.
yeah, when he was when India was in, like, a deep turmoil after the match fixing allegations.
Hmm.
So he took the way he took over the team, and the way he built the team. So the cricket where it is today, it was, I felt that no, it was because of his capabilities. So yeah, so these three things I would always look upon. And of course, there is family motivation as well. But these
Hmm.
three are like very
Got it.
yeah, always in
Got
my
it.
heart.
You know, I need not have asked you the rest of the questions. I could have just asked you this, and that would have kind of given me the answer because you want to enjoy your work like Pele, right? So
Yeah,
that like directly, money is not as important to you. You
yeah,
want to give back to the society,
yeah,
and all of those things come from here. So it really tells me about who you are, man. Awesome. I love it. Do you want to? So I've seen Ganguly as like a really, really fearless leader.
Yes.
He's often not very afraid to
Yeah.
speak his mind out.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
also want to lead like that?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I
So
feel,
yeah.
I mean, in my experience, you're a soft person.
Yeah.
You're quite nice, but Ganguly is like very, very fearful, right? So do
Yeah.
you also want to like
Yeah.
lead like that?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on circumstances. So I don't take inspiration from other folks, but I really like that quality of the way he led the team. So I don't know
Mm,
if I will imbibe the those leaderships or not, but I felt that it was a very incredible journey he had done with the Team India. So I'm a avid cricket fan, so that.
awesome.
Yeah, but I don't know whether I would imbibe that or not. But I just like him, like
Got it.
those sequence of events and the comeback of Team India. So that is real fictitious. That's not fiction. It's a real story. I mean,
True,
I really like that. Yeah.
true, true. Why do you like it?
So it's what like in before this 1999 or 96 World Cup. So like people threw bottles when India lost
Mm,
semi-finals, and when India got into this scandal about Azharuddin. Like Azharuddin is a figure which entire India looked upon, and when India realized that Azharuddin was in fixing allegations, so and every cricket fan was busted out,
correct,
so they lost hope on cricket, and they stopped watching cricket. But the guy came and the guy delivered, and
got it.
then the hopes were again mounted back. So yeah, that was truly a fairy tale, right? So yeah.
Very true, very true, very true.
And
Lovely,
from there
lovely,
there
man.
are, and from there there are many captains. The MS Dhoni took
True.
it to next level. Virat Kohli, so they're all took it to next level. But I found that that was base for many of the successes now.
Yeah, yeah. He was a very pivotal part. I think each
Yeah,
leader India has had in the cricketing
yeah, yeah,
journey, they've added
yeah.
something to the whole
Yes,
chain.
yes.
So that was
Yeah,
lovely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're a real cricket buff, huh? 96 World Cup, 99 throwing bottles. You remember it all. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'll try to watch as many games as possible. Yeah,
Do
and I
you
like
still
Test
watch?
cricket more.
Oh, you're a true
Yes,
cricket
yes.
fan.
Yeah,
By the way, so do I. You and I watch Test cricket.
yeah, yeah. Test cricket is much more interesting than T20.
Yeah,
I
yeah. See,
feel.
I think this is all inherent in researchers. We are all the marathon runners. We are the test cricket
Yeah,
watchers. We are the slow
Test. Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Patient people don't get
Patient
excited.
people. So
Yeah,
I mean, I think the things that we like are long term. So
yeah,
lovely,
yeah.
lovely.
Right.
Awesome, man. So, I mean, we talked about so much today,
Yeah,
from, your childhood days and your travel with your parents,
yeah,
then all the way to your college life and how you kind of enjoyed your college
yeah.
life to then your first job, uh, triple IT journey, technical problems, how to do research. I think you've given us a lot of very useful information which people can work on. Do you have any sort of final message to prospective students, to people who are currently in the academia industry, somebody looking to enter this field, any kind of sort of direction,
No,
advice,
man,
belief,
no
final thought?
questions or no advice. I know everyone is talented, so it's just that I got opportunity, so just grab the opportunity, and then things will happen. So be patient and yeah, believe in yourself that you could do. So that's all. No other, nothing more.
Lovely,
Everyone is
lovely.
talented in this world.
Awesome, awesome. Very humble outlook. I so somebody wants to get in touch with you, like ask more questions, enter this field. How can they do that? LinkedIn, email. What would you recommend?
So I'll be very active in on LinkedIn. So
Okay,
and I could share my personal email as well. If anyone wants any help, please you can let me know.
awesome, awesome. I'll link your LinkedIn in the description.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so that's it. I mean, so you've shared a lot with us today, which I think usually the closest of friends usually share. things from your childhood and so on. So thank you for opening up and
Yeah.
giving us a sneak peek into who you are. A person is always much more than just their work, right? Your ambitions are
Yeah.
to start a college. You work in 3D. You like traveling.
Yeah.
So beautiful and well-rounded, just like how anybody should be. Thanks for doing
Yeah.
this, and that's it. That's all more or less from me.
Yeah. Thank you, Abhinav. Thank you for hosting me, Abhinav, first.
Yeah, no issues, no issues.
Yeah.
You're worth hosting.